Hello, everyone. It has been over a year since November 13th, 2023, since I did my last video. And that video is still marked private, as most of them are. I am deciding that I think I'm going to try to reopen the channel and go back and make these videos available to watch. So I want to tell you why I decided to start the channel again, or restart it. It's going to be a lot of work because I got to listen to these videos and be sure there's nothing in there that can hurt me legally down the road. So I named my channel, of course, Love Left Me Forever, based on the fact that I've been alone almost all my life with no relationships, and became very angry and very depressed and hopeless, very angry and bitter. And that's where I left it back in November 13th, when I had reported about the restraining order that was falsely done to me because of a mental health crisis that I had had at work. And they became afraid and decided to file a restraining order against me. And it cost me a great deal of emotional turmoil. Ended up even having to pay court costs of $300 and something. But I wanted to give you some good news, and I want to give you an event of what happened. You can probably kind of tell from the title. It had been over 27 years since I'd had a sexual experience with a woman. I mean, I hadn't even touched a woman since I was 40 years old, and I'm 67. And there was a lot of anger and a lot of rage about that, and a hatred toward other people. And I want to go ahead and forewarn people. You send me negative, ugly comments, I'm not going. This is some of the new ground rules. I am not going to put up with it. I will ban you. I will delete you, and that will be the end of it. So, what has happened? In December, just a few days ago, December the 21st, I drove 600 miles back to my home county where I lived in Florida. I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I drove all the way to Florida to revisit my childhood home where I grew up, where I experienced a lot of childhood violence, where I learned all my beliefs that I wasn't lovable, where I learned that I was a loser with women. And that's where it all started, was in this place that I lived for 23 years in Polk County, Florida. I had a horrible trip, horrible Christmas. I was alone. This makes probably the 40th Christmas alone, well, with no partners, no friends. Total isolation. I have no male friends, and I have no female friends. But some of that seems like it might be changing. So I'm going to tell you what has happened. I have been on various different dating sites and sex sites for 15 to 20 years, and I've had one date in all that time. The dating sites are absolutely useless for me, and probably for people like me. And I had been on Adult Friend Finder, and it was useless. And I was paying $35 a month, and scammers. But then another website called Fling, FLING.com. I joined it about 3 years ago, and I put some pics up there, graphic pics, and I put my profile saying I was seeking a relationship when I really wasn't. You just put down some general words, and the same thing happened. Just no results. I had a couple of conversations with a girl, and it never worked out. Every time I tried to close the deal or get her to meet, there's always some reasons that she couldn't do it, and then find out she was living in a homeless shelter. So my losing streak of a man of attracting shitty situations was still alive and well in December of 2024. And going down to my hometown and coming back after 6 nights, spending $1,000 and spending a lonely Christmas by myself, I was basically not sure how I was going to continue anymore. So on December the 30th, which was, let me look at the calendar just a minute. I should have had it pulled up here. Okay, so I got back from Florida on December the 26th. Okay, I got back on December the 26th. Depressed, unhappy, with nothing to look forward to, no job, living on Social Security. I've been doing some DoorDash. So I think on the 27th, which was Friday, I saw I had a message from a female on the fleeing site, and she appeared to be 48 years old. That's what she actually said she was, but then she turned out to be 54. But that's no problem. But anyway, before I tell you that story, about 2 months ago, I changed my profile. I had like 20, 30 words, just a little profile. I'm seeking a desirable relationship with an attractive female that hopefully leads to sexual intimacy. And I just deleted that whole thing. And I came back with a profile, graphic profile, saying 3,000 words. And came back and basically, it's kind of like the Alan Roger Currie mode 1, just tell them exactly what I felt. And I just flat out said that I am looking for a woman to basically eat your pussy and lick your butthole. I'm talking about I went all out. I said everything that I wanted to say. I was graphic. I left nothing out of the imagination. Every graphic thing you can think about, I said and I spoke. And I didn't spoke, but wrote. And then I posted it, and I said that's not going to work. You know, because these young 30-something women, they're going to see that and just think I'm a dirty old man. That I'll never hear anything back. So I just gave up on fleeing, quit looking at the profile. I quit checking my messages for several weeks. So I got back from Florida on December the 26th, and then like the 27th, I saw a message, and she says, I read your complete profile, and she says, I got a hot kitty for you. And she sent me a nude pic of her vagina, and she had her head cut off. You know, I couldn't see her head, but I could tell she was an attractive woman, had a pretty body. And I said, this is more than likely a scam. More than likely a scam. And she said, if you're interested, get back on here as soon as you can. So I let it sit for a few hours. So I got back on there and told her what I wanted to do to her and what I wanted her to do to me. And I said, I am definitely interested. It appeared she lived down near Atlanta or Alpharetta, Georgia, which is about 85 miles from here. So she had read my profile, and she said it got her pussy wet. Okay? So I'm thinking, hey, you know, I'm 67 years old and got a pussy wet just from my words. And these weren't spoken words. She read the words. Of course, I had some really graphic pics that I had on there that I made 3 years ago. And so they were on there as well. I'm going to just take my time on this video. I'm not going to rush. It's not scripted. So I got a little excited about it. You know, she's saying, you know, can you get a motel? And then I said, maybe she's really serious. Well, I've just spent $1,000 down in Florida at a motel. But I said, I'm willing to pay another $130 at a nice motel. You know, I'm not going to buy no cheap Best Western or Motel 6. If I do this, I'm going to impress her with a Hampton Inn. So I went back and told her, when do you want to do this? And first it was supposed to be Sunday night, but then it kept, you know, she was very slow in responding. I think she was working. So Sunday, she kept dragging around and she wouldn't respond. And I was getting frustrated and almost got angry and just said, screw you. You know, I got better things to do. If I would have done that, I'd be a very unhappy camper right now. So I just kept sending. I said, you know, I didn't get rushy. I didn't try to send too many messages. So finally she responded back late Sunday and said, let's make it Monday, 9 o'clock. So that was really better for me because it was 8 o'clock and I'm still tired from that trip to Florida. It took me 12 hours to get home the day before. So I went ahead and I still didn't book the motel. So I woke up Monday morning, which was now December the 30th. And I went ahead and booked the motel. And there was no backing out of it because you book it that early, you're going to pay for it. So I booked the motel down at a place called, I can't even think, I should have wrote this. I guess my memory's getting a little, it's near Alpharetta. It's right off Interstate 75 north of Atlanta. And I cannot believe I can't remember the name of it. The name of the city, Ackworth, Georgia. So Ackworth, Georgia is a suburb of North Atlanta. So this time I only had to drive 85 miles. It took me an hour and a half. I said to go down there for, pussy and get laid for the first time in over 30 years. Yes, I'm going to do this. And so I made the motel and I sent her a text and she didn't respond. And I got a little nervous. So I sent her a text. Or not a text. I sent her a message on the Fling site. So I went ahead and started getting ready. I decided I'm going to leave and be down there by 4 o'clock. I didn't want to just get there at 8 o'clock and her show up at 9. I want to get there and get emotionally acclimated and get excited and get ready and rest and take a shower and be clean and all ready for her. So I'm on the way down on the interstate, 3 o'clock, and I still don't have a confirmation for sure, other than she said that she'd be there at 9 o'clock the day before, and I sent her another message while I'm driving. And finally she wrote back one word, confirmed. When I saw that confirmed, I knew I was going to get laid. I knew that she was going to be there and she was going to show up at my motel. And she had some ground rules. She wanted me to give her a copy of my driver's license so a friend of hers, female friend, could have it and know where she was at all times in case something went wrong. They would know who I was. Of course, nothing's going to go wrong, but I did that, and I couldn't take any pictures or videos, which I didn't care about any of that, and I couldn't bring any other people like a man or a woman unless she had it approved. Of course, I didn't have anybody. So I don't know anything about this woman. I don't know whether she is a smoker, a drinker. I don't know whether she's going to be a slut. I don't know whether she's going to be a working woman, a waitress, businesswoman. I don't know anything, don't even know her name, other than what she put on her website. So I get her at 4 o'clock, and I'm very excited, and but I wasn't overly excited. I wasn't coming out of my skin. I enjoyed taking a bath. I enjoyed walking around a little bit, and just the feeling that I'm in this nice, clean motel, and in about 3 hours, I'm going to be in that bed with that woman. It was extremely exciting, and I'm thinking, man, what a way to end the year after such a shitty year. 2024 was a shitty, lonely year, and nothing's changed since y'all last heard from me. And I'll open up them other videos here eventually. And I knew she was going to come. And she texted me a couple of times, or she wanted to know what I was doing. And I told her I was just getting ready and resting and watching TV, which I wasn't. I was on the computer watching porn. And truthfully, I was worried about erectile dysfunction, because that is something I guess I have started to notice in the last couple of years, watching porn. But and that really worried me, that I'd have to rely on my mouth. And I didn't want to tell her, because she told me what attracted her to me was my pictures, my dick pics on the site. But the pictures were taken 3 years ago. And so I know I'm being real graphic here, but what happened next was, 8:30, it went by fast. It was 8 o'clock. It was 4 o'clock, and it was 5 o'clock. Next thing I know, it's like 8:30, and she wanted me to meet her downstairs in the lobby. So I got dressed in some long, just casual clothes, and I went down to the lobby about 5 minutes till 9. And all of a sudden, the door opened, and here come this woman walking in. And she told me what she'd have on, with black boots and a green dress. And she came walking in, and I saw her, and I couldn't believe how pretty, good looking she was. She was a brunette. I love brunettes. And she just walked up to me and kissed me right in the mouth. No introduction, just hugged me and kissed me in the mouth. And we went up to the 5th floor. I chose the 5th floor, which was the top floor of the motel. I've always chosen. I didn't want to be able to hear anybody above me, and I figured people would hear us below. But I didn't, so I always choose the top floor for even when I go on these personal trips. I just can't believe this has happened. We're in the elevator, and I can smell her perfume, and I could tell this woman looks pretty professional, and turns out she was a political consultant. She works in the political field as a business person, and she had a 16-year-old son. She was not married. She said she hadn't been in a relationship in 5.5 years, as far as a steady relationship. So we got upstairs to the motel room, and immediately she just came on to me, grabbed me, pulled my shirt off, pulled my pants off. She took her clothes off. In less than 60 seconds, we're in the bed, and the first time I've seen a pussy in over 30 years. And I don't know how much I can really say. I told her that I was having a problem with getting an erection. Not see, it wasn't just because I said I don't really know what's causing it. Maybe it's just the last 3 years of stress and maybe the porn. I don't do any kind of. I mean, I've been exercising. I've been keeping myself in shape. I've lost some weight, and I walk every day and do push-ups. And you see my new muscles. I'm just doing push-ups. But we were in bed, and I guess I just be honest with you. I buried my face in her vagina. She didn't shave, and that's what I wanted. And I basically sucked this woman's pussy for an hour and a half. An hour and a half. And I loved every fucking minute of it. And her butt, I didn't let nothing go. And of course, she did the same to me. And of course, I had a hard time getting hard. And she didn't, she understood, but I made up for it orally. So I'm in this bed with this attractive woman, clean, don't have a scar on her, don't smoke. And she, it was just enjoyable. She was there to serve me. She came there and said, I want to do everything that you want me to do. She said, I want everything. I want to do everything. And she did anything that you can think of. Every sex act imaginable. You think about it. Rimming. Every fantasy I'd ever seen on porn. And she loved every bit of it. And she basically orgasmed I don't know how many times on my face. I can't believe I'm telling this video, but this is what happened to me. On December the 30th, I'm going to check my calendar again. December the 30th was just 5 days ago, 5 nights ago. And we went at it for an hour and a half. Couldn't have intercourse because of my problem, erectile problem. But she was satisfied. I was satisfied. I mean, we laid in bed for a few minutes, and then she went to the restroom and came back. She started putting her clothes on, so I knew she was ready to go. I mean, she had driven, even though I drove the greater distance, I drove 85 miles, but she still says she had to drive an hour, which I don't understand because Alpharetta was supposed to only be 30 miles away. But she came an hour. Can you imagine a woman, a 54-year-old woman driving an hour to see me in a motel, to suck my you-know-what, and let me eat her pussy for an hour and a half, which I did. And I loved every minute of it. And I was just as horny when she left as before she came, but I didn't care that I was horny. I mean, in fact, I had met a woman who satisfied me. I mean, I was satisfied at the time. But I went to bed that night with a smile on my face. I felt warm. Did I think this is going to be the end of my problems and that from now on women and pussy is going to just start showing up? No, I'm realistic. I hope that this starts a new trend for me. I feel totally different now. I actually believe I deserve to have a partner, a sex partner, and I had read Alan Roger Currie's the Mode 1 stuff over 3 years ago, and I really got very angry at him and bitter at him. And I resented Alan because he had a wife at 28 years old and he was 60. And I thought that was a cop-out. But to get back to the story, finally, after 3.5 years of all the work I've done on myself and exercising now and getting my weight back under control, a sexual partner shows up in my life. And now when I'm on Fling, I look at it and I send maybe one message a day, and I ask the woman, tell her, these new women, what I want. I'm still not ready to approach anybody in public yet. I may never have another sex partner for as long as I live, and that would hurt. I do not want to be the person I was in 2024 and 2023 when you all knew me, maybe 2022 and all the fucking years before. That sucked. Not a woman in 30 years. That sucked big time. and that is pain. I mean, this woman's pussy was beautiful, and I buried my face in it for an hour and a half, and I am not ashamed. So, the difference is now my self-esteem is a lot higher, and I'm sleeping less, and I believe that maybe I could find somebody again. Uh, and I'm not going to play no games with them. I'm going to do the mode one on them, and I've been doing that online. Uh, I don't seem to be afraid of women anymore. I mean, this woman validated me as a man. She could have left when she got there. She knew I was 67, and I was afraid that when she actually saw me, she would back out. But she never backed out. She said she liked older men, and she liked my white hair. She could have left. I mean, she just from the moment she walked in, she had my dick in her mouth and hand, and I didn't know that such a thing could exist. She was an absolute animal, and she wasn't needy. I mean, when it was time to go, she got up and I said, "I'm going to walk you downstairs, and we'll take you to your car. We'll walk you to your car." So we went down to the elevator, went out in the lobby, and went out to the parking lot. She walked up and kissed me on the lips, and got in her car, drove off. That is it. Now she did say something, that we might meet again. If we ever meet again. So she dropped a bomb. Now, 3 years ago, I would have already contacted her by now. I said, "Oh God, let's nail it down. Let's get together next week." Not going to do it. I'm going to wait a week. And I told her, yeah, I'm going to wait a week or two, maybe 3 weeks. I may never contact her. The point is, I'm not going to show any desperation, no neediness. If I never see her again, I'm okay with it. I'm not. I mean, we haven't communicated since then. Like I said, this has not changed everything for me. I mean, she is still a female. I mean, she said that whenever she wants sex, that's what she does. So she goes online, she tries to set it up, and she says she has a hard time now. She says most of the guys think it's a scam, and I told her, I said, "God, they do. Most of the time it is a scam." She says, "I can't get anybody to book the motel." She says, "I can't believe you did it." She told me that. She says, I've asked other guys to book a motel, and they won't do it. They're thinking that I'm not going to show up. And she said, I just can't believe that. She kept saying, "I can't believe you actually did it and followed through." And that made me feel just about as good as the sex. But the point is, I mean, she was an animal in bed. She loved every minute of it. There was nothing she wouldn't do. And I'm so disappointed that I couldn't get an erection. That hurt. I mean, for me, I couldn't penetrate except with my tongue. I don't think she walked away unsatisfied. I mean, my jaw actually cramped. My jaw and my hand, where I was using my hand on her, my hand and my jaw would cramp up. That is how intense it got. And I didn't have the courage to tell her I was hurting it a couple of times. That is a smell I don't never want to forget. I tell you what, I forgot that. It's been over 30 years, and that is a smell I hope I never forget. And I didn't take a shower for 3 days. I got back, and I could still smell her on my hands and in my mouth. I trusted her. If she had a disease, I would know it by now. She wanted to be sure I didn't have a disease, which I said, "Well, I can't get a disease with my hands jerking off." That was kind of funny. So that is what has happened to me, and that's what's motivated me to send this video to those of you. I still show 407 subscribers. And I'm telling you right now, you come back with derogatory comments on here, and you're not nice about it. I don't expect you to agree with everything, but I'm going to shut you down, because the new Wayne, the new me, the new person that's sitting here is changed. I'm going to have self-esteem and self-respect from going forward. I'm not going to tolerate all the crap, psychotic people out there. But at 67 years old, somehow at the end of the 2024, I attracted a hot brunette woman from Atlanta and basically buried my face in her vagina for an hour and a half, while she did the same to me on the other end, and enjoyed every minute of it. And I am happy. And I know the depression is going to come again, and the hopelessness, because the big fear is, how am I going to pull it off again? I am still 67 years old. I mean, I may never meet another woman again. I mean, she reached out to me, and that's how I found it. I let go of the outcome and just finally got a message from a woman that, after 3 years on this website, uh, that actually was the real thing. She wanted it. And I am not going to risk scaring her off by contacting her prematurely. I'm going to look for others, and I'm sure she is too. I don't know how, but she was a clean woman, and I am grateful. I'm not grateful to God. I don't. I believe, still have a lot of anger at God and Jesus and all that, and it even makes me angry that it happened the way that it did. Why now? Why December 30th, 2024, after all the pain I've been through all these years, all this loneliness, all this aching, all this rage? Why does a piece of pussy show up in my life on the last day, almost the last day of the year of 2024? It's like the universe saying, "Oh, this poor guy's just about to, to go, to leave the world." But to have gone that long without sex is painful. I mean, it is pain to not have a woman, to not see her vagina and smell it and to touch it and eat it and all that good stuff is living hell. And I will never tell anybody any different. We're not meant to not have women. As men, we crave them. And I have been through hell of loneliness and deprivation. And so now I'm scared for a new reason. I'm still by myself.